Anytime I am in conflict in my life with myself, feeling any inauthenticity, it's because I'm acting out of alignment to my I am. So there's only two emotions: love and fear, jealousy, anger, scarcity, all of that. We have all those feelings because we're afraid of something. And in the dream, I was told she's communicating with you. And so then when I woke up, I looked at my pager and it had all these crazy numbers across it. So there's certain numbers I see and I'm like, oh, that's her. Okay, she's telling me as if she were still here. I felt some calmness that my mom has been dead for less than 24 hours, but she's going to communicate with me and she's going to use numbers. And I'm a 12-year-old. At 12, my mom dies. My life gets uprooted. What happens as a little kid when you lose your dominant parent? You become the dominant parent in your own life. And that's a lot of pressure and responsibility. Just constantly looking for outside validation. Am I safe? Am I enough? That's a lot. I put myself through the ringer. So of course I got sick. When I was going through cancer treatments, everybody asked me why I got cancer because I was 24 and they were like, you're so young. Our souls are infinite energy. We are complete. We are love. We are perfect love. And if we are perfect, nothing is missing. The only times that I have regret in my life is when I don't listen to my intuition.
Welcome for the third trial. Dear listeners, you have not been in the pre-show, which would have been a super thing for you guys to actually follow. Welcome to the Oliver Schirach Show. I'm your host, obviously Oliver Schirach, sitting here in Denmark in the darkness. I tried to get the right theme up with the color scheme here in the background. It's a supernatural, spiritual, mystical podcast with near-death experiences, astrology, human design, outer body, and all that cool, juicy things. Basically, the hero's journey from depression to expression. And it all started with me trying to interview people on creativity, innovation. And it was very fast actually sliding into the spiritual path, how to be more intuitive and listening to your creative juices. And today we have such a person on the other side from Nashville, Tennessee, calling in, ready for her lunch soon. I'm going to be ready for calming down. And let's see, it's Elysia Skye from the Brilliance Method podcast. And I don't know what else the Brilliant Method. She told me not to forget to call that she leads mindfulness seminars and she's an intuitive coach. Besides being the podcast host of the Brilliance Method, energy healer, psychic, and past life reader. Welcome to the Oliver Schirach Show.
Thank you so much, Oliver. We did it. Here we are.
Yes, no beep sounds, no problems with uploading videos.
I know we both have this energy about us that technology sometimes doesn't like to be around us. You know, it's just like a really strong energetic presence that messes with tech. And I already have that. And you said you sometimes have that. So we got together and everything shut down. But we did it. We made it work. We are determined people.
Yeah, we're determined. We tried last week. You were sick. You're still a little bit rough on your throat.
Mm-hmm.
So we have been talking for a long time already. I don't know, 1.5 hours, I think.
We're best friends now. We know about each other.
Yes, I'm a human design projector, so I'm projecting back. That's with the energy, right? When I have the guests with the energy, it's just like, boom, there we go. So this is definitely going to be part one of several parts because we can talk, I found out. So we redo it, and now I know already the answer, or perhaps it's going to be a slightly different answer, who knows? However it comes. My icebreaker questions for my listeners as well, so they get to know my guests. I've heard many listeners like that part. Other podcasts go straight into the juice. And I actually want to know, who am I talking to? Especially when people reach out to me, as you did. Lately, since the summer, many people reached out to me. I'm surprised. But that's easy for me. But I also need to get to know you guys. So how would you describe yourself in 3 words? Could be verbs, adjectives, nouns. And why those 3 words? And I know it's already more than 3, so.
I have more than 3. So I am kind, I am intuitive, and I am love. And the reason I chose those 3 words is because I believe these are qualities of my soul that I came in with that I didn't learn how to be as a human. And I learned this idea from my friend and mentor, Andrea Quinn, who wrote The Quintessentials 9 Transformational Tools to Accomplish Anything. It's a great book. She'd be a great guest for your show. And she teaches a process called the I Ams. And I'm actually one of her coaches. So I'm very well versed in teaching this process. But the very miniature version of it is our soul or our spirit comes in with these beautiful qualities, and our human self doesn't need to learn them. Like, I am generosity. I never had to learn how to be generous. I always wanted to share. I love giving compliments. I love inviting people into my space. I am loyalty. I never learned how to be loyal. I just came in fiercely loyal. Like, I love you. I'm on your team. I got your back. Who do I need to kill? We could bury them under my pool. We got this. All right. Nobody go look under my pool. Just kidding. I am, and when I go to I am kind, which is the opposite of murder, I am so kind. Every single thing that I do is from a place of kindness. And that's not something that I ever have to try to do. It's just who I am. And anytime I am in conflict in my life with myself, feeling any inauthenticity, it's because I'm acting out of alignment to my I ams. I cannot imagine not being kind. Like, even when I get angry at people, I really suck at being angry. I'm not good at being angry. I'm reading a book right now called The Dance of Anger, so I could learn how to be angry better, because I'm just so kind, and that it serves me most of the time. I am love. I believe we are all love. It is what our soul is made of. I believe God is love. The universe is love. We're not separate from that. But love is so easy for me. It's easy for me to love you. Everyone is, my friend before they're my enemy. Like, I'm just a loving person. When I went to the hospital this week for being sick, they told me that I have a slightly enlarged heart, which I thought is funny. I'm like, well, I am love. I didn't know that I had a slightly enlarged heart. It was new information. And I am intuitive. It's a part of who I am. It's in all the work that I do. And listening to my intuition saved my life. And the only times that I have regret in my life is when I don't listen to my intuition. And I'm going to show you something, Oliver, that I hadn't showed you before from this part. Okay, so I have this thing.
Oh my God.
So if you're listening instead of watching in the audience, I have this big, beautiful wrought iron thing of all my I ams. I'm love, I'm creativity, I'm loyalty, I'm intuition, I'm a healer, I am power, I am kindness. And I have this here, and I see it every day to remind myself of who I am.
Yeah, that's definitely very fitting to the theme of the Oliver Schirach Show.
And if you're listening and not watching, if my audio sounded far away a second ago, it's because I was showing everybody this thing on the other side of my room. But
yeah, this big metal thing, which is laser cut out the text about, it's crazy. And they have the Brilliance Method neon light on the back in this 80s style. Okay, the 80s, you couldn't make it that nicely roundish, I think, but the colors and everything. And I don't know where you got such a big crystal, which looks like wings or lungs. I don't know if it's wings or lungs.
Ooh, I love that they're lungs. I've never thought of them as lungs. I love that. They were given to me on my birthday last year. I've always wanted, I feel like I've manifested these giant amethyst wings, and they're expensive. It's thousands of dollars to have something.
I know. This is huge. It's not small.
They're very big. So my husband and a bunch of my friends got together, and they pooled. There were like 50 people. They all put in money, and they got me these wings.
Awesome.
I've so loved.
Yeah, I've put like little notes. I have to say, while you shared that with the pool and the people underneath the pool, I thought of poltergeist. If you know poltergeist. I don't know if it's called poltergeist in English, because
it is, yeah.
Because it's a German word, poltergeist, right?
Uh-huh.
So,
what does it mean in German?
It's a ghost that is making a lot of noise.
Okay. Okay, so what were you going to say about it?
No, I was just thinking you shared like with the pool, and then the word poltergeist came in my mind while you said it. And like, what? I'm not thinking of movies like that. I don't even know if I saw Poltergeist or only parts of it.
Yeah, me too. There's a lot of energy around us always. And I have had so many people I love that I've lost in my life. So it's not that I've killed anybody and they're under my pool, but there is a lot of energy of people who have crossed over in this space. And I only invite the good. I only invite the light. My grandmother likes to hang out, and I believe, and I've been taught that when somebody crosses over, they like to, have a thing that they use as a symbol to connect with you. And if you have a family, and a lot of family members have crossed over, I've been taught that they each like grab onto a different symbol. One might choose electricity to get your attention. One might choose music. One might choose animals or insects, butterflies, bugs, birds, right? There's all different ones, and they don't like to have the same one because they don't want to confuse you with who's here. And my grandmother, of course, she would have wanted music, but my grandfather took that one. So she chose electricity, and she messes with the lights a lot. And we had this old, ugly, just regular light in the hallway, like a very inexpensive light fixture that you probably get for $10. And she said to me, I want a nicer light. So I got this beautiful, like Tiffany style light that has like stained glass and dragonflies. Now I have this gorgeous light that doesn't match everything in my house, but it made her happy. So this is the weird person you've got on your show today.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've about ghosts and spirits lingering on at dowsing for your soul. Yeah, soul dowsing. And she also said like the soul should go on. That's the teaching. Yeah. So if the souls stay on, it means they didn't realize they move on. So how is your experience with that? Because I don't feel any of my family close by. Could be. I had some times where I suddenly felt chill going through me when we talked about someone which was dead. And I thought that was very weird that I felt like really like from the toes to the head, the chills like in that moment. Because now I talk about ghosts and I feel nothing. So there was something going on. But what I learned with this dowsing, I always think of next level souls, but that's a podcast. I cannot, so my head is like twisted here. But it's about dowsing, about who you are and what are your energies and so on. So there you let go of these ghosts and help them to move on to the next life, to the next adventure, to the next whatever. So what is your experience or your teaching or knowledge about the ghosts when you say your grandfather, your grandmother, and other people hanging around?
Yeah,
shouldn't they go on?
I believe they are very much moved on. They are in the other side. They're in super conscious experience in heaven and whatever you want to call it. But we can connect with them at any point. And so when they want to connect with me or support me, encourage me, help me heal, say hello, then they can come anytime and do that. So when I have those messages or those experiences, it's just them saying hello. My mother likes to communicate with me through numbers a lot. So there's certain numbers I see and I'm like, oh, that's her. And I'll remember to think of her, or, if I'm worried about something, then I see that number all of a sudden. I know, okay, she's telling me as if she were still here. Hey, Elysia, it's going to be okay, So they can come back at any time. And I believe the same is true for saints and angels. People say, oh, I saw Jesus in my potato chip, or I saw Buddha coming through the clouds. It's like, you probably did, right? They can be anywhere at any time. So if you have guardians, like a lot of people love, Archangel Michael or Kuan Yin, right? They can be with you, Oliver, the same way they can be with 10,000 other people at any point. Our souls are infinite energy. They could be anywhere at any time. So my grandfather could come and check on me the same way he could come and check on my nephew. And when it comes to souls that are not fully crossed over yet, my understanding, and I have an episode of this coming out very soon on the Brilliance Method with Patty Negri, who does a lot of psychic mediumship work. She would be someone so fun for you to talk to on your show. She's more of like a famous witch, and she has a show on different TV stations doing like ghost hunting and psychic activations and all sorts of cool shit that I don't do. And her and I talked about this, and she said when someone it hasn't crossed over, they might have died tragically or unexpectedly, and they're confused, or they have some unfinished business they need to check on to make sure. Maybe if they died suddenly, but they have a young baby, they want to make sure that the kid is okay before they go, So there's some things that they still kind of hang around for. And it's confusing to me because I feel like you can still do that from the other side when you're fully crossed over. But I don't know if it's like a glitch that happens or something. Because my mother died very unexpectedly, but I feel like she went right to the other side. But like you were saying before we started recording, that maybe this is your last life. I think it was her last life. So no reason for her to stick around.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't know if I ever mentioned that on my podcast. That this but it could be because I have an interview from my yoga teacher, and I actually have to re-listen to that because
Okay.
it has been 5 years ago.
Well, I outed you, but you said could, not necessarily is, but it could be, right? It could be our last lives, really.
What you said with the sudden death, I heard that from several places, right? If you suddenly died. But then I'm thinking I had near-death experiences, not like Next Level Soul or the other on the other side podcasts or whatever they called, where they have like a lot of near-death experiences. Then you ask yourself, okay, if you have a near-death experience, you cross over, you have either, I had a suicide, Kelly Sammy, she killed herself and she was everything. So she didn't have God or anyone waiting for her. She was just everything. She has just all the knowledge and she was coming back. I don't remember if she was called back. She just felt like she was pulled back into the body. But others, they see someone they know, or they see Jesus or Buddha or God. So how is it then if you suddenly die as a person and then you're stuck on this side? When you have the other people which come back from a near-death experience or come back from a death experience, probably more accurate, they are dead for 5 minutes, 10 minutes sometimes or longer, and then they come back because they have these conversations with something.
Yeah.
And then these ghosts get stuck here because of a sudden death. It kind of makes me curious. I don't know everything. It just comes up now. Like, how is that?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I don't know that I know the answer, but I think with a near-death experience, someone comes back because they are here to share their experience. And they go to the other side and they experience pure love and they realize all the drama and the stress and the worry is so unnecessary. And they come to remind all of us of that, right? When you listen to NDE or the other side or all those episodes, in the end, they all say the same thing, even though I keep watching them. They all say the same thing, which is calm down. Everybody calm down, which is the name of my book that'll be hopefully coming out next year. And because of that, right, we just need to stop worrying, stop stressing so much. That's why I love mindfulness. I love the idea of being present. And so if you're coming back to then you've died and you're coming back in the same body to be a teacher, to change your life, to inspire the community around you, amazing, right? So why do people like die and then get a little stuck? Part of me doesn't even believe it, but the other part of me is open to that idea because I trust and respect so many people and paranormal, investigators and mediums that have had experiences with ghosts who feel a little bit stuck or spirits that feel a little bit stuck. But I don't think, Oliver, that their entire soul is stuck here. I think they're also on the other side, right? And so it's like that part of them there's nothing missing. Again, we are complete. We are love. We are perfect love. And if we are perfect, nothing is missing. So let me throw out a new idea that I have not given enough thought to yet, but we're going to experiment on this show right now. If somebody is stuck here, they died tragically, they're confused, they're stuck. They're actually not stuck. They're on the other side, whole and complete and wonderful, also observing a part of their spirit or their essence or their energy still hanging out here, having whatever final lessons they're supposed to learn before it clicks, and then they go and reunite with their soul.
Or they're here for a purpose for the ones which are not aware of the finer materia, because they're still in the material world.
Yeah, and maybe they have more physical abilities in that in-between space than they will on the other side. Because I've also experienced that when somebody dies and they've crossed over normally or completely, they have to almost like build up it might not even be them, it might be us receiving it, but the communication, right? I remember the night that my mother died, I had a dream that I had a pager at the time. So it was December 1993. So I might be aging myself, but I was 12 years old and I had a pager. We didn't have cell phones. We had pagers, beepers. And
I had one as well.
yeah. And in my dream, my pager was going off over and over and over and over and over. Right. And in the dream, I was told she's communicating with you. And so then when I woke up, I looked at my pager and it had all these crazy numbers across it. And I couldn't make sense of them. And then I looked at it, they were there for a few seconds and then it went away. And I was like, okay. So I felt some calmness that my mom has been dead for less than 24 hours, but she's going to communicate with me and she's going to use numbers. And I'm a 12-year-old, but I knew that's what she was trying to do. Now, did she do it perfectly? No. And did I understand it perfectly? No. Which one of us didn't do it right? I don't know. But over time, we got it down. So now I know when she's here and I know what she's trying to say. But I think there's like a learning curve on either one or both ends. And I don't know how long that takes.
Okay, that's interesting. So, because when I prepared last week and then I got confused, I shared it in the pre-show that I had like 3 interviews planned up and then, prepare for all the shows and people reach out. I have to get figuring out details,
Right. People don't understand when we produce a podcast, it's like we are like producing a television show. There's so much happening. We have 10 people's jobs in one job. You're amazing for what you do, Oliver.
Thank you. So, but I heard, you say in all the episodes I heard so far, when you're on other podcasts, not on yours, I try to listen to the ones where they interview you.
Thank you.
To see what you're sharing. So I have like an angle and hopefully not go exactly the same path because that would be boring if it's always the exact same. And that's what I heard about Malcolm Nair, which has been on 30 podcasts with his near-death experience. I was one of the first asking more questions. I had him 3 times in a row. Kelly Sammy, which killed herself. She was like, no one ever asked why she killed herself. They always wanted to know, what color she was and how she felt and everything. Like, you have a person that actually went through and took her life, and you're not asking why that person actually went that far to take her life. How not? So I try always to actually find a few extra things, but the interesting things I hear before, I also want to have on my podcast. It's always like a balance act. Like, like how much do I repeat? And my guests are not the same guests as on other shows. So if they like it, they probably go like I normally do, and then they search for the name and go listen to all kind of episodes. And I love when I find someone which on every episode it's kind of something new. It's very seldom, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I know that you say your intuition has helped you several times. Like when you don't listen to the intuition, you have a bad experience. When you listen to the intuition, it's kind of working out. And one thing is your cancer at age of 23, 24, breast cancer.
Yeah.
And you share now your mother died when you were 12. I don't know if I heard that before. I'm curious if you have ever figured out why at such a young age you got breast cancer.
Mm-hmm. It's a great question.
Does that have anything to do with your your loss of your mom at age 12 or other things and other traumas or suppressed energies?
Yes. See, this is why you're so good at what you do, because I have told that story so many times. And most people don't ask me why I got cancer. But what's interesting is when I was going through cancer treatments, everybody asked me why I got cancer because I was 24 and they were like, you're so young. Why did you get cancer? How did you get cancer? And so that question that I was asked 1,000 times 20 years ago, no one's asking so much anymore, which is fine. But I love that you're asking today because that's what sent me on my spiritual journey. And I needed to know, why did I get cancer? Because my grandmother maybe had like a stage 1 different type of cancer. Unfortunately, my mother died when she was 37. So which cancer, I don't know. So I don't have a big trace of how genetic is it. And also when I was studying, I learned that genetic breast cancer is actually a very small amount of the people that get cancer. And so I went into, well, why do we get sick in the first place? How does stress affect the body? And, even in the last couple of weeks, I was really stressed and my husband was doing this big show. We were putting all this stuff together and I had so much work and Similar to what you were dealing with in your podcast, I was like backlog, so much stress. Of course I got sick because my immune system was suppressed by stress. It's clinically proven, scientifically
Yeah.
proven that is what happens. So when I look at, okay, well, if stress affects the immune system and fear, I believe, Oliver, there's only two emotions, love and fear. Okay. Now stick with me. Any negative emotion like jealousy, anger, scarcity, all of that is under fear. We have all those feelings because we're afraid of something. I'm jealous because I'm afraid they're not going to choose me, right? Or I'm angry because I'm afraid, I'm not going to, I'm whatever, I'm going to miss out on something, right? And then we have love. Underneath love is all the positive emotions, right? Empowering emotions like joy and light and, lightness and, happiness and all those things are under love. So, yes, there's lots of different emotions, but they all come down to either love or fear. And when you're in a situation in your life or multiple situations where you are constantly afraid, then what is going to happen? You're going to feel stress. Your stress hormones are going to increase, and you have the potential to manifest dis-ease in the body. I said potential. It doesn't mean if you're stressed all the time, you're always going to get sick or you're going to get cancer. Nobody is cursed. Okay. Now, you just interviewed an astrologer. Certain things I do believe are predetermined. I think a lot of things are predetermined. But without scaring anybody, why did I get cancer? Number one, I was on a spiritual path to experience disease in this lifetime so that I could be a spiritual teacher and a coach and a healer and a helper. I had to go through something personally and physically terrible. I made that choice on a soul before I decided to jump into this body as Elysia. So I knew. Now, how much free will do we have? I don't think very much, but that's a whole nother conversation around, that idea of philosophy based on A Course in Miracles.
I mean, we saw that with freedom today, right? We tried so many ways to get started with this podcast.
All right, choose your own adventure, path of resistance. So because I believe the script is pretty much written for our lifetime, our free will is our perception, our choice to how we see something. Now, does that mean that we don't have infinite timelines of our reality happening at once? I do believe we have infinite timelines. There's a timeline where my mother is still alive. There's a timeline where I didn't have cancer. There's a timeline where maybe I didn't meet my husband. There's all these different timelines going on. So maybe we have the free will to jump timelines if we want to switch our reality. But in this particular timeline, I got cancer. And so part of it is predetermined. The other part, if you want to get very 3D, yeah, I had a lot of stress and trauma and fear that I didn't deal with. Not only did I lose my mother when I was very young, I was in a family where it was not easy. My father was a criminal and doing a lot of things that were not good. And I witnessed some things that are not very nice for a little kid to experience. And they got divorced. We had a lot of money when I was born because my dad was a criminal. So we lived in a really nice house and had everything we wanted. And then they got divorced, and then we're moving, getting evicted. My mom didn't have a lot of money, single mom, 2 kids, like moving, always very unstable. And finally, around 5, 6 years old, I think through the help of my grandparents and some other things, we got some stability. My mom went to massage therapy school. Things got normal. I had kind of a normal life from 5 to 12, even though at age 9, my father got arrested for the first time, right?
Oh.
So then at 12, my mom dies. My life gets uprooted. And then what happens as a little kid when you lose your dominant parent, you become the dominant parent in your own life. And that's a lot of pressure and responsibility. And then growing up thinking everything is so precious, anyone could die at any time. This fear and this feeling that if I don't say I love you when we hang up, it may not be the last time I ever see this person, and then I didn't say what I wanted to say. And then living in Los Angeles from 19 years old to be a movie star. I went to school for acting, and I was acting, and I was in the Screen Actors Guild. I still am. And the pressure of what does everybody think of you? Are you the prettiest? Are you the most fit? Are you the right for the role? All this outside pressure. And then you get into hormones and relationships and choosing people who don't respect you, just constantly looking for outside validation. Am I safe? Am I enough? That's a lot. I put myself through the ringer. So of course I got sick.
Yeah. I mean, when you say your parents were divorced when you were, what, 2, 3 years old?
Too, yeah.
Wow. And then your mom dies when you were 12. So who took care of you then? Your grandparents?
So the night that my mom died, my grandparents came over, my uncle came over, and my dad came over. He was out of prison by then. And he had like their custody agreement was I could see him on like Sundays. So I knew my dad pretty well, and he was like a fun guy, but not a great father. He didn't really know how to be a father. I don't know if he really wanted to be a father. And he just said, okay, well, I need to move in, right? I'm going to move in. I'm going to be the dad. So great. That didn't go very well, but he moved in, and my grandparents, who didn't really like him, said, well, maybe you should move in with us. But if I moved in with my grandparents, they lived about a half hour away, and so did my uncle from where I lived, which meant I had to change schools. My godmother, who lived in New Jersey, I was living in South Florida at the time. So that would be like going from, how do I compare it in Europe? But like very, very far, right? That would be from going to like the south of Spain to maybe like Italy, right? Like now all of a sudden I'm many, many hours away by plane or train.
Yeah.
And I have to go to a different school or I have to move. And so they said to me, what do you want? And my sister, what do you want? And I was like, there's so many changes right now because mom just died. I at least want to stay at my school with my friends. Like, don't make me go to a new school and have to make all new friends. And so they said, okay, then your dad is going to be the one to move in. Right. Which nobody wanted. Everybody wanted me and my sister, but we said, we're going to stay. So who raised me? I don't know. I was raised by wolves, I think. My godmother raised me from afar. Every summer we would go up and she helped us a lot financially. My grandparents, of course, were wonderful, always checked in, helped with some things financially. My aunt and uncle, amazing. I feel like my uncle is more like my father than my father ever was. So, but Monday through Friday, every day of the week, no, I got myself up. I got myself to school. I figured it out. I cooked food and I didn't wind up a drug addict or a prostitute. I've had a good head on my shoulders. And my dad was around and again, doing the best he could. But of course, he got involved in other crazy criminal shit again. And by the time I was 16, he moved to California. So I was alone, right? My sister went off to college. My grandfather, who was in his 90s, moved in to like kind of help. And that was really fun. Him and I got along great. But
in his 90s, he moved in.
But he's driving me to school and he like turns and there's cars coming. I'm like, oh my God, this 90-year-old man is driving me places he shouldn't be driving. And I got my license pretty quick and I grew up fast.
Okay, so your grandma was dead at that time, or?
No. So this is my father's father. He moved in. Yeah. No.
Okay. So
the other grandparents were still
Wow.
together.
So wow. Okay. So you have old grandparents.
Yeah. They're not around anymore. But yeah, I had all 4 grandparents at one point.
Yeah. For me, my grandmother just died during the Corona time, but we don't want to go down that road. She was 89 and she was super healthy, everything until something happened. We leave it at that. So my father's side, his ancestors, they were all mid-90s to 100, and one of my mom's side. So that means I understand. So your sister is bigger than you.
Yeah.
Okay. So she didn't take care of you. You took care of yourself then.
Well, yeah. I was 12. She was 16. So of course she looked after me, very protective of me. But she's 16. She's dating. She's going to college. Years. Like she had her own life, and she worked for her mother too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. We definitely, and even still, we're very close. We take care of each other. We look after each other. But do we always get along? No, we definitely have our differences. But when it comes down to it, me and her are tight. Like we got each other's back. So she took care of me the best that she could, but she wanted to go away to college. And so, of course, she went away to college a year later.
Yeah. No, but just for me to understand. So yeah, I can see there's a lot of pressure at 12, cooking and doing everything ready. Wow. You want to still play and, not be so serious. I can see there's a lot of pressure and...
But I'm not a great cook.
Aha. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, sometimes I'm lucky when I'm cooking. We are getting to the Christmas season anyway. At least that's what Spotify and others think we are since the end of September. But I'm getting a little bit annoyed with all these commercials on Christmas before we even are done with Halloween.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But anyway, my Christmas cookies, apparently last year, they were very well seen in my neighborhood.
amazing.
But we talked about human sorry?
Before we talk about human design, what kind of cookies do you make, Oliver?
Swiss cookies.
What does that mean?
Means the cookies I know from Switzerland, which are apparently not the same as you get in Denmark or Romania. My ex-wife is Romanian. I live in Denmark. And my friends are, a lot of them, well, not a few of them are Italian. So I know panettone, right? Even my ex-wife from Romania knows panettone. But the Swiss cookies, yeah, what's that? With vanilla and chocolate cookies, nut cookies. I try just to think, anise. How you call anise?
Licorice.
Is it licorice? Anise?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, so it's white and it's very strong in taste. So I just love these things. I cannot get it here in Denmark, so I have to do it myself, right? As I said, it's not the same. It's not the same pastry. And for the cuisinier here on this podcast, I don't know if anyone is in love with cooking and normally listens to the cooking show and just found its way here to the Supernatural Spiritual podcast. Switzerland is in the center of Europe. Not when you look geographically, when you look at how tall it goes up to Sweden, Norway, that's not the case. But we have Italy south border, we have French on the east border, west border, Austria and North Germany. So there's a lot of influence from these cuisines, from these kitchens. So we have like the French salad and the Italian salad dressing, right? That it starts there. And I found out by being married to a Romanian that actually the Austrians are the bakers. Didn't know. So the croissant is not a French invention; it's an Austrian invention.
That's why I love the croissant so much. I'm Austrian. I'm Austrian, Russian, Polish. I love.
Oh my goodness! Привет.
No, I'm not doing okay.
So you don't know how to. I try to learn Russian because of all the Ukrainian refugees, and I find it's interesting to try to learn a language which is not similar to the Latin languages and the Anglo-Saxon. Anglo-Saxon means German, English, Danish, etc. And Latin is the French, Italian, Romanian, which I found out by being married and surrounded by Romanians. But reading about the Romanian stories, etc., I found out, the Osman, the Turkish back then, which were fighting over 200 years about-ish with the Hungarian Austrians, were defeated finally. And the Austrians knew, the Osmanian, they had the half moon. So they took one of their pastries and made a half moon, put it in the coffee and ate it in front of the defeated Turkish. So that's why the croissant is a half moon. And somehow then the Austrian, whatever princess, got married to someone in France. I don't know which king or royal or whatever. And she took her favorite breakfast with her, which is the croissant. And now the French are making it international.
That's right.
They that's what I remember. Yeah, lots. There has to be a lot of butter. At least for me. So Switzerland, we're in the middle of these things. So there's a lot of pastries I found out Romanians have as well, thanks to the Austrian, because Switzerland was fighting the Austrians. That's how Switzerland became independent. And the Austrians were, because they were fighting the Turkish, they went through Romania a lot of times, and Habsburg, and Habsburg is Austria, the Hungarian realm. So I found out being in Romania with my ex-wife, I'm like, hey, what, you have the same stuff as we have? And, then you go down the rat hole and you find out this, So they didn't go all the way to Norway, Scandinavia. At least
I learned
the
something,
cookies. But I don't think my ex-wife had the same cookies. Yeah, but there's just a lot of cookies my ex-wife doesn't know. But there's a lot of cakes we both like, and we don't get in Denmark. So.
Sorry.
But being international, you learn to pick up the food you like from whatever nation or culture I have friends from. So.
That's right. And how many languages? What are all the languages that you speak, Oliver?
On peut parler français, parliamo italiano, così la pizza, mamma mia. Hablamos español, un poquitino, cuando quieres. No говорю по-русски, хорошо. Danese, tervidansk, Deutsch natürlich, und obviously English. So it's like 7 languages.
Wow.
Più o meno. Right now, that's what I had open when we looked at why is it not working with our podcast. There was like the Disney Channel. So I'm watching the Star Wars, what is her, Kosha, whatever, the woman, Jedi. I watch it in French to, kind of practice my French again. I studied 2 years in the French, like a master high-end level in French. And my English got better because I was reading Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter for any.
Right.
Yeah, because actually the books get more difficult. The first 2-3 books are pretty easy to read, and then she adds more complexity in the language as well, besides the whole context. I don't know if that was a conscious choice or if it was just happening because she got better as an author. I don't know.
Yeah.
But learning, it helped, right? Because you have read already 3 books in an easier to understanding language, and now you add. Because I didn't know what a broom is and the cauldron, all these kind of things. Right? Strega is a witch in Italian, by the way.
Right.
Strega. I actually don't know it in Romanian. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you said before we talked about human design.
Yes. Now we had like a big gap. Let's see if we keep it. We keep it. We just make some chapter lines. Human design. What was it? I said I'm a projector, so we project back.
Yeah.
Cold food. It was about cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And my digestion is cold food, so I don't consider myself as a great cook because I'm not really motivated from inside out to cook. Which people are like, yeah, but you can still cook for yourself. It's important that you have some good food. Like, yeah, but I enjoy a cold salad or cold food.
Yeah. I was taught that it helps our digestion to have something warm. So if you eat a salad, have a cup of tea with it.
Now we get it. Yeah. Now we get into Ayurveda.
There we go.
And we're in autumn now. It's October. I don't know, 15, 16, 18. I don't remember. Somewhere mid of October. Don't have the calendar open. And yes, we should have warm food. And because my vata, my air and ether is out of whack, which means that's why I have so thin hair. It's not the pitta which burned the hair. Could be, who knows. Dry skin, cracking noise, farting, barping, and all these nice airy things.
Yeah.
It's very important if you're an air element that you eat earth.
Sure.
But I'm tridoshic, so I have to always be careful not to overdo any of those kind of.
Yeah, I'm fire sign. What do I do?
You're a pitta person. I can see your red pullover and I'm learning Ayurveda is like a 5-year, 10 years education. So I'm not really deep, but I know fiery people are probably more the managing generators or whatever it's called in human design. It's like the managers normally. They're very like focused and straightforward, and they can work.
The 5-1 manifesting generator.
Yeah. Plus you're a pitta. So yeah, you're probably very structured and planning and organized.
Except in my personal space, I have some clutter. And I've been reading this book called It's Not Your Money by Tosha Silver. And it's a beautiful book it says how to live fully from divine abundance. Because I love talking about money. I love helping people with their business and their career. I'm really good at helping people make more money. And a lot of my clients come to me to make more money. And I'm really good at making money. And when I was looking at these different ups and downs I've had in my money lately, I've been feeling like I want to get rid of things. And she validates it in the book, and she says we have to make room for abundance. And so there's 5 steps to the process, but the second step is clear clutter. Get, like, if you have 18,000 emails, delete them, like, right? If you have stuff sitting here now, I have a lot of oracle cards and tarot cards and things on my desk, but there's some things that don't need to be on my desk, right? So just find a spot in your room and just clear it, clean it, and make room for more. And then abundance comes.
Yeah, I got a new computer screen, which I tried to fix, and now it's actually tilted. The one we couldn't take video. I got it from a friend, and I cleaned up the desk. And now when we started, I'm like, where's all that clutter coming from? Because I tried to keep it clean. But you're right. It's like, I want to have like a clean desk. So when I work podcast interviews or something, it's a clean desk, but it somehow ends up not being really clean.
Well, we talked offline a little bit about ADD or ADHD, and there's something to that. When you have ADD or ADHD, we like to have things out where we know we could see them, we know where they are, because if it's put away, it's out of sight, out of mind, and then we don't know where it is. So if you have any sort of ADD or ADHD and you tend to have clutter, but you want to have a cleaner space, then you just develop a system or a process that, okay, like I know that, like I have 4 decks of cards on my desk right now. Okay.
Oh,
No joke. I got 4. We don't need 4 decks of cards on the desk right now. But if I put them away, I have a clear box. Clear is essential for people who have ADD or ADHD. So you could see what's inside of it. So it's not out of sight, out of mind. So I have a clear box down there, which has all my card decks. So I know that when I choose to clean off my desk, I'm going to take these 4 decks. I'm going to put them in this clear box with the 10 other decks that are in there. And I always know in my system, in my mind, if I want my card decks, they're in my clear box on this 4th shelf of my shelf. So if we remember, and over time we'll remember, it's always in this place. We get tripped up when we put it in a different place we shouldn't put it in, when we're rushing or we're not being mindful. So mindfulness is essential when you have ADD or ADHD and you want to have a clean space connected to your abundance.
yes. And I know why I have like the books up, because I wanted to take notes and clean it. But then I worked this week and I know exactly what you say. I have the furniture next to me, my final project for my carpentry joinery school. And it really helped me to put the things away. And exactly as you say, if I know where the things go, then it's clean. But then I keep it up there to finish a job. And then one job after the other adds up. And that's where the problem comes. So I have to learn, just put it away. If I have the energy to do it, I'll do it. And when you open that beautiful box of ADHD, and my mom like, oh, we have 45% ADHD in Switzerland. I'm like, I heard 20% by now. So it's not a minority anymore, but I think it's the whole fucking lifestyle. It's the whole food. And we are not doing mindfulness anymore. When you and me, we were young. So I'm 47. I heard you're 43, if I'm not wrong.
34.
Oh, so okay, the podcast I heard was before your birthday then. So we're similar in age. We automatically used to do mindfulness because we didn't have the phones and the TikToks and the YouTubes and the Reels and all these things which kept us active all the time. We were automatically being present in the moments and mindful. We took that out of our lifestyle, at least in the Western world. So mindfulness, for me, I was diagnosed ADHD 8 years ago, something like that, at age 38 or something like. And I ticked all the boxes. I think there were like 10, 11 or 12 boxes. The only box I didn't tick was narcotic misuse. So not drinking alcohol or I cannot. I was like 3-4 times drunk in my life. I had some joints and I did ayahuasca, psilocybin, because of my spiritual path. I wanted to see where are my blockages. I wanted to see where are these dark places of me. How can I overcome them? How can I work on them? If I don't see them, I cannot work on them. So it might have opened some doors, but through the path, now that's 6 years ago, I did that. And like 1.5, 2 years ago, I tried with a joint to do it meditative, to do this spiritual thing. It fucked up. So I know my body doesn't respond on those things anymore and intuitively. So that's why I was not checking the box on drugs, which is apparently very typical when I look around. People with ADHD, a lot of them take joints to calm down, to calm the mind, to calm the noise. But I should not be able to work. I should not be able to have a full-time job. For the last 2 years, I was at school and working, and then my ex was like, yeah, but you changed your work all the time. Like, but still, I went to work. Even though I'm not a morning person, I was there at 7 o'clock. Yeah, sometimes 10 past, quarter past, sometimes quarter to. Sometimes the time, even though I woke up early, it just passed, and I don't know why. Yes, because I'm not a morning person, so it takes time to get going. But what made it possible for me to actually work without taking ADHD medication, because I don't think you need it, seriously. But if you take it, don't just drop it in the toilet or garbage.
Right.
Easily
We are
take
not
it.
doctors. We are not doctors.
It's my own experience.
Okay.
It's my own experience. I also stopped with antidepressants. It's mindfulness. It's meditation. That's the medicine no one wants to take, which has these problems, because it's so fucking hard. When you have ADHD, when you're depressed, when you're anxious, you just don't want to sit still and feel, listen, whatever it is. Look in a candlelight, look at the sunset, look at the waves on the shore, whatever it is. Mindfulness or meditation is so many things. But basically, it's getting back to the moment, get back to you, feel the body, feel the breath. And that's basically, it's not a one time and your ADHD, anxiety, and depression is gone. For me, it took years. And I said no to the medication. I had the medication and I said, it doesn't help. I'm not getting better. So why taking it, paying money to the pharma, but I'm not getting better. Oh, you manage your symptoms. Yes, good. But I'm not getting better, so it's not helping. So, and through the guidance, through the universe and people and synchronicities, right? I had to do, and I'm talking a lot here, and I did a Vipassana almost 2 years ago. And people were like, how can you be silent for 10 days? You always talk. I'm like, yeah, let's give it a try. I was there. I'm a projector, so I know I was reflecting what's around me. So there was powerful people which already did that before. Yogi, you can say, spiritual people which did it before, and the whole place has the energy of being silent. So I just absorbed it. I was silent for 10 days. No problem. I said, in my head, I said, when we stop with when we can talk again, I just stay silent. Forget it. People started talking. I started. No issue. So you don't want to hear it, but mindfulness, meditation, and these things are the best medicine for these kind of things.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there's a place for what I call earth magic. And earth magic is the medicine, right? The depression medicine, the ADHD medicine. There's a time and a place for it. If you are so horribly depressed and you're going to kill yourself or you can't get off the couch, take the damn medicine and take it until you can get to a place where then you can switch to meditation or something like that. So it has a purpose, but not everybody needs it. But I don't want to, like you said, encourage anyone to not take it. But I think the goal is to eventually be able to use your personal practice, your spiritual practice to maintain your life and your happiness and your peace. And, we all have different brains, and that's just, some brains need more help in one direction or the other. So talk to your doctor, but talk to also your coach, your therapist, your spiritualist, your yogi teacher, your Ayurvedic practitioner. So, this is what you said is so critical, Oliver. And that's why different corporations and companies bring me in to teach mindfulness. And even companies you would think are not spiritual companies, or they don't talk about energy or spirituality, they bring me in to say, let's lead a meditation because we want people to be less anxious, less depressed, and happier and more peaceful. Because then they're going to do what? Be more productive, and the companies will make more money if people aren't sick all the time. So even corporate.
And creative, right?
Yeah.
When you're not stressed, you're more creative. You find solutions.
100%. Yeah, you use more parts of your brain. So there's a place for this in corporate world, in the structures, and more people are considered spiritual than not. 80% of the world identifies as spiritual, not necessarily religious, even though there's a portion of that percentage that is religious, but the majority of people are spiritual. So, even if you're a business owner listening to this and you're like, oh, I should incorporate more mindfulness or meditation into my business. Yes, you should. Like, bring a facilitator in and have people do this and pay for them to have Calm apps or Headspace apps or something like that so people can manage their stress. If you're going to put them in stressful situations with the way your business is run, give them the tools to manage the stress.
Exactly. I mean, what you're saying now, I remember I had because I was coming out of depression, so the state tried to put me in, the state paid and the company had me basically for free. And I was like, this big facility and there were room. And, I was like, why is there not this meditation space? You have it was like this open space, all these companies and innovation and startups and all that thing. I'm like, it's a lot of stress going on in the head and trying to figure out how things work. Having a room which has some kind of green wall, perhaps some moss or whatever, depending on the size you have, you can sit down and relax. That would be very helpful. And what you mentioned, all these professional people to go and talk, but I say family, friends. So many people are lonely now.
That's right.
Find people which are like-minded somehow, not on Facebook or TikTok, because that's kind of like going into the extreme of like-minded. I mean, find people you can be around, talk, hug, be together. I think that's where the depression, anxiety can be reduced, because you now have people where if you don't have money for food, you have people around, they will invite you, right? And suddenly you have this safety net that, if I don't have food, I can go and get something from a friend, not somewhere, for the homeless, but with people you like. I think these are things. But I know we are running short of time. You have to eat and you have a course coming up.
I have a class I'm teaching.
I don't know if you got anywhere where we planned to go. We definitely had some interesting talk and I got to know you much better. You had 4 decks of cards. Of course, I was interested.
I know. I want to pull cards for you. before I go. Okay, so
let's do that as a final thing, because I thought of like mindfulness practice we could teach for people to use or anything. But we'll take that in part 2, 3, or 4.
Yes. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I already shuffled some cards for you before we started. And so I'm going to send a message to the people that I am working with in 30 minutes, but I just have a couple minutes before we get on to prepare. So I'll send this to you. 30. Okay.
I have no idea what you're doing. I see your hands moving underneath the camera there.
Okay, here we go. Okay. So I want you to set an intention. Okay.
What is it, like a word or?
I want you to, and for everybody listening, I want you to set an intention to receive some clarity and some guidance. And even though this reading is for you, Oliver, anybody who's listening or watching at the time that they find this video, whether it is this month or 2 years from now, it will resonate with them at that time. I believe everything happens at the perfect time. So just close your eyes and just take a mindful, beautiful, deep breath. And just set an intention for yourself and just receive. And you are incredibly psychic and intuitive, Oliver, which is part of the reason why you're drawn to have these conversations. So we're going to pull 2 cards. I want you to pull the first card. You're going to tell me, okay? You're going to say now. Okay.
Now.
Okay, great. And then I'm going to pull the second card for us. Beautiful. Okay. So this is from the Starseed deck. I'm sure you've had people on your show talk about starseeds, right?
I've heard of the Starseed deck. I don't know where.
Yeah.
Not on my show. We didn't really have many people which are pulling cards, but when I did ayahuasca, I suddenly had a card deck in my hand and Mother Earth fell on the floor.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to pull one from a different deck too.
What was it? It was not Gaia. It was the South American word.
Okay, ready? You'll figure it out. Okay, so the one that you pulled, okay? We, the Hathors, which is deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal.
All right. Hathors.
Okay, so this is Egyptian energy, okay? So I would feel like this is a confirmation that you've lived many, many, many lifetimes, and you very well could be wrapping up soon. Okay. And this idea of deep love, birth is a portal, it is reminding us that we choose to be here. Just like you were saying before, like we have, I don't know, this might have been offline when we weren't recording, talking about this. And I know in your other episode too, the astrologer was talking about the eighth house, right? We've got sex and death in the same house, right? So when you have the idea of birth as a portal, it truly means we are coming here as a portal to have a different experience. Our soul just wants to have this experience. That's the only reason we're here. Are we here to learn all these lessons? Maybe, but we're here to have an experience that is loving or that is in contrary to love, so we can learn and to know ourselves better. Okay. So I want you to also receive some nurturing. So there's mother's milk here. Receive nurturing.
Oh,
Nurture yourself. Okay. And receive. Okay. This deep love, you are so loved, Oliver. To know you is to love you. You are easy to talk to. You are easy to get along. And for people who are watching and listening, if you're thinking, well, I'm not that easy to love or I'm not that easy to get along with, yes, you are. It's time to spend more time with your people who know you and who love you and who you can have easier conversations with. That's why you're drawn to this podcast, because you know you could have an easy conversation with Oliver or just about any of his guests. Okay. So find your people, connect with your people. Then the next card, it says, you
well,
got the love. Okay. Okay. So to work on codependency and boundaries. All right. So any new relationships you're calling in right now, whether it is romance or friends or podcast guests, but I feel like it's romance. Okay. And if anyone's listening or watching, or you're already in a marriage or in a deep relationship, that can always be strengthened, but we have to go into healing any codependency issues, thinking that we are less than without somebody else, and having boundaries. And boundaries does not mean you have to be mean or stiff. It just means you have respect and love for yourself. You have requirements for your life. Like if I asked you, Oliver, what do you require right now in a partner, right? We know what we don't want, but what do we want? What do you require from your money? What do you require from your yeah. Okay.
it's there, but it's a little bit vague sometimes.
So
Especially partner. That's why I'm not having a partner.
okay.
But it's also feeling like, do I need a partner? I'm like,
You're so easy to love. You should have someone in your life to just shower you with love. Okay. And, my grandmother said to me once, it's just as easy to fall in love with a rich person as it is to fall in love with a poor person. So can you just fall in love with a rich person? I didn't take her advice, and I'm very much in love and I have no regrets. But it's sometimes funny to think about, right? That we can step into our self-worth and bring in other people who have their own abundance. So we're not always having to take care of everybody. Okay. So, and we can also receive being taken care of. So this hedra, this like multiple heads kind of going around.
Second.
Check in, ground. Okay. And so that's this other card I pulled from this other deck is check in. Okay. Check in.
Check in.
When you think about whatever it is that you're pondering, take a moment to check in with how you feel about it. This is mindfulness. Do you feel lighter or heavier, excited or filled with dread? Pay attention to your inner guidance. It is always helpful. You are so psychic, Oliver. So it's time for you. I feel like your abundance, like this next phase of your abundance, as you're looking for jobs and all this stuff you said you might be doing. Man, if you got paid to just have spiritual conversations, you'd be a billionaire by now. So
actually, we work on that. So
right.
So we can mention that. So I'm talking with Malcolm Nair about getting YouTube lives with specialists, and I'm looking for who of my guests will be there, so we can have people. But you have to pay, and then you can ask me and my guests questions.
Fantastic.
As a special part besides the podcast.
That's right. Is your podcast is successful, and there's a lot of people that listen to it and watch it across all the platforms. And that's why more and more people are reaching out to you right now to be on your show, because they're seeing how successful your show is. So people want to get in front of your audience so they can be more successful themselves. So it's time for you to get in front of your own audience. And anybody who's listening or watching, if you feel like you would pay like a monthly membership fee to get more behind the scenes or connect deeper with Oliver, have Oliver coach you and reflect back to you your own light, your own brilliance, your own gaps, then no. Okay.
Oh, I do that for people on the street. They don't like it all the time.
Okay. Well, time to get paid.
Yes. So you had one more card, or these are the three cards?
I just did those three. That's it.
Yeah. Because I didn't see what you did. Because sometimes when you see these card, three people, they put like 5 cards, future, past, whatever, all these things. But it's kind of, it resonates a little bit now because I had like these 4 interview calls. So check in what feels right. So let's see. Some decisions might be like, shit, it's too far away from the kids, or this doesn't seem right, but there's something you cannot see at the moment, right?
Right.
Which down the way, you work there for a month, 2, 3, and suddenly a door opens because you work there, which brings you closer to whatever you thought is so far away.
Yeah. Just do more of what you love.
Yeah. Oh, that's something I hear so much. And by the psychic thing, I thought of numbers when you shared about intuition, and then my mom sends me numbers, and I just had written N before I could write number. And you said, my mom sends me numbers to know that she's there. I was like, that's weird.
Psychic.
Super. I don't want to hold you back from your deserved food, because your pizza you have to eat at the same time. Otherwise, your energy will drop to the floor, and then you will have coffee.
To be continued.
Yeah, this talk to be continued. When it will happen, we'll find out. We write emails back and forth. And this was just different and awesome. And yes, I love it. So people, thank you for listening that far. And you heard her. Reach out to me or to Elysia and send these comments. What did you like about it? What do you want to hear more about, etc., etc.? Because this helps us to have better questions, which help you to understand where you are and understand your path.
It does. Thank you. And I'd love to invite everyone to look for the Brilliance Method podcast. It's also a video podcast. We have some amazing conversations there. And I have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/the Brilliance Method. And I just started doing twice a month, a new moon and full moon gatherings. And we pull cards, we talk about energy, we have spiritual conversations. It's very inexpensive and it's so fun. So come and check out my Patreon and be a part of that too.
And I think, what did you say on one of the podcasts? IG? Are you on Instagram active?
Yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm on all social media and LinkedIn. Elysia Skye, ELYSIASKYE. Thank you.
Yeah, because I thought I heard something that you lost me somewhere. But that's good. People, and you know where you find me. Oliver Schirach, easy to write. Everyone knows how to write that. If you found that podcast, please check out the name. I'm Schirach on Facebook, Instagram, etc. I have unfortunately some very famous name relatives from Germany. So sometimes that blocks a little bit, but else there's not many Oliver Schirachs. So
there's nobody like you.
No, and that's what I heard from me, especially my yoga teacher. God has not created photocopies, so be yourself. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, my friend.